Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm Sessions podcast. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Let's pour some Vachi because I'm excited to get Sergi's take on this coffee. Very excited. Did you hear about the new Nordic cafe that opened in Seattle?
No, I did not.
I'm pretty pumped. Their new cafe, I guess, is being run by one person. I've never seen her before, but she just runs the whole shop by herself, which is
owner
insane.
operated.
Yeah. It's kind of like in an interesting part of town. But yeah, they're it's kind of like Nordic inside.
Yeah.
They're serving Coffee Collective.
One roaster or multi?
I think so far just
for now.
One, but they're like I think they're like branding themselves as like a Nordic cafe.
Like by that you mean like coffee style and like design style, or
I don't know. I think so. I mean, it's a very Nordic branding, Nordic like look inside. Very small, like hole in the wall. Looks interesting. I'm definitely gonna stop by. What part of town? Man, I don't know. I actually accidentally stumbled across it because we were in like Pike's Place and we're walking to the stadium. And on the way there, it was just on the left side. I just saw a sign on the window.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, but they weren't open back then. This was like 2 weeks ago. And then, so.
Oh, that's interesting.
Seattle's getting their act together with
Seattle?
With coffee gems.
I guess. If you can call that.
What do you think?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'd say it's like very much so. I know what coffee this is. So
nice.
That's why it's kind of, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is about what I expect from it. It's like pretty big in acidity. This is a pink bourbon, right? Bourbon, no? Oh, do I know what coffee this is? It's very juicy, but it's also very tropical. That's why I'm like, it's not pink
our
bourbon.
Coffee.
It's not our coffee? Oh, that's why I'm like, okay, gotcha. Okay,
I believe we have cupped this coffee from an importer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I know we've cupped a handful of them, but so that's kind of pretty much irrelevant. But we're familiar with this coffee for sure. Not this roaster. This is like a brand new roaster.
Gotcha. I feel better about this because I was like, interesting. Like, I'm not really. This doesn't feel like some of the coffees that we roasted recently that we cupped, but I'm like, it's also very similar to it.
What do you think? What are you getting on it?
I think it's pretty bright. It's fairly juicy. It lacks a little bit of like complex clarity, not complexity, clarity, I think. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's pretty good.
Give people distinguish what the difference between for you complexity and clarity, because it feels like they would go hand in hand.
They do.
Because if like something's complex, then that means it's got some clear spots.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's complex enough, but just not high on clarity. What's that?
Yeah. I like complexity for me. Like when I taste this, there's a lot going on in the coffee. The acidity is pretty dynamic. Like I can taste like there's sweetness in the acidity. There's also some punchiness in the acidity. There's this like nice tart essence to it. It has a very juicy mouthfeel. But it's really hard for me to distinguish specific parts of that acidity. So, and that's why I'm like, wait, is this a pink bourbon? Flavor-wise, yeah. Sometimes you taste something complex, and it's like, it's kind of all over the place, especially a coffee that can be complex with not a lot of structure. It can be all over the place. There's a lot going on, and your senses tend to be slightly overwhelmed with a lot of different stuff. But then you can pick out like, oh, wait, that caught me off guard. That was like so straight up like grape jelly. Or something that it almost comes out in such deep like clarity. I'm trying not to use the word clarity, but yeah, it comes out so obvious that you're like, oh, it's this. This coffee is kind of taking me a little more to, wait, what is that? Is it this? Or is it that kind of thing? You know, I'm like, is this pineapple on there, the tropical essence of it, or is it something else? You know, I think that's how I would distinguish it. But when it comes to complexity, this coffee has pretty good acidity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of tropicalness. Maybe like a honeydew / kiwi out of it. Yeah, kiwi I think goes hard on this.
Yeah. My favorite part about this coffee is the aftertaste.
Yeah.
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 The long lingering aftertaste.
Yeah, and it tastes a little tart as well. Like it's got this like tarty mouthfeel taste. So yeah.
And sometimes it's hard when you brewed this on the Aiden too. It's like, especially when you're brewing on filters, like a pour overs, like it's kind of hard to kind of get that back end a lot of the times. I think, well, not hard, but sometimes it doesn't have that same texture. And what I like on this, it has that like back end texture on it, that the acidity is still there. It's still bright. It's nice. But then all of a sudden, like it leaves that sweetness after the acidity. It's not just all highs. There's some lows to it too.
Yeah. Give me 0 out of 10, 0 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
What would you?
Probably 5 to 7.
5 to 7?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a pretty big. Give me like one number. 5 is like, let's just say like 5. 1 is like terrible. 10 is like phenomenal. 5 is like average.
Yeah.
Like a solid specialty roast.
Is a 5? Yeah, so probably a 6.
6, nice, slightly above average.
Yeah,
that's great. I would say the same. Maybe like a 6.5 for me.
Yeah.
We need to come up with some kind of
scale,
grading scale. I think we should.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the Mira coffee from Mira Coffee Roasters.
Oh, gotcha.
That Scandinavian roaster from New York with the shiny bags. Yeah. This is a Colombian producer, Paulo Trujillo. Some coffee from actually Juan, I think, sent us some of those samples. This is a Bourbon Ají.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Roasted fairly light. I mean,
it's very light. That makes sense. Yeah.
I like a 113.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
But
that's very light, yeah.
Friends, episode 201. That's crazy. Sergi did episode 200 with Maxwell last week. If you haven't listened to that, give that a listen. There's some good Easter eggs in there. Some good, as I would say, like lots of value in there. Like that was great. No, that was
good.
That was Max brought some good content for cafe managers, owners. It's just good stuff. So also, if you want to pick up a bag, looking for something zippier and bright, go with the Ildefonso Cordoba on our website. Totally. If you're looking for like a little more, maybe not too much funk, but a little bit funk and jammier and a little more that kind of side, definitely go with the Gasca Brothers, maybe some of the Jose Lasso.
Yeah.
So, the menu's filled and probably will be rotating here soon. Because coffees are moving fast. But anyways, let's get into some dripper talk. What are you thinking? What are we tackling today?
Well, one of the things is we've recently, especially for you, I just came in and looked at.
I know I have a mess right there.
You have more drippers than I do, so you probably have a lot more value to bring in this podcast than I do. But I went from, I guess I do have a lot of drippers. They're just like archived in my closet. Like I don't use a lot of them. I just remembered I still have the Fellow Stag brewer, and I remember back in the day, like it was all flat bottom. I feel like for me for a long time.
Yeah.
I think in the last 6 months, I've definitely went back to more like conical stuff, especially since our episode with Jay, the founder of the UFO dripper. When he sent us the UFO dripper, I've 90% of my coffees at home have been on the UFO dripper.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the Dwell is kind of not archived. It's still, on the shelf on the bar there, but I ran out of filters. And I think...
What kind of filters do you take?
For Dwell, it's any of the flat bottom, whether it's the Kalita ones, the Stag ones.
So it's like a full-on flat bottom.
It's a full-on flat bottom. Yeah.
Interesting. For some reason, I thought it was like the bee house.
Oh, yeah. No.
I thought that's what it was like, but
no. I feel like almost all flat bottom brewers are very similar. Like there's slight variations to them, but they're fairly similar. And I guess you can say that about comparing the Origami and the V60 and the UFO. They're all kind of shaped in a V, right?
Yeah.
But there's slight differentiations. The reason I got the Dwell, I got it for Christmas one, and the reason I asked for it for Christmas is because it's rubber, and I brought this up multiple times on the episode. I think just the basically like it doesn't take on that much heat. It doesn't need to be preheated necessarily because rubber doesn't really hold on to heat. It's not a conductor. So that was my main intrigue about it. The other part is the whole crux of this conversation, I think, might come down to filters for me. So without releasing too much of what we're going to talk about, but filters play a big role, whether I have them or not, and how picky the brewer is with that filter, and that's why V60 is probably, if I'm out of anything and I absolutely just have to get some coffee in, and like I can't do batch, I'm doing V60 most of the time. So just easy,
Interesting. Why are you saying that it all comes down to filters for you?
Because, well, for example, again, for the Dwell, flat bottom filters are kind of hard they're very picky and kind of hard. There's a lot of surface and they're kind of hard to come by. Like I don't like the Kalita filters as much, like for the Dwell, and then to buy the Seabreezed ones on the Dwell, that works the best. They work so good. But
the
everyone
Seabreezed flat bottom.
Yeah, the ones that I use, the Matt Winton ones.
Okay.
There's a few cons to that. Like I honestly absolutely despise folding them. I don't know if anyone listening is on the same boat as me. I'm not an origami kind of like, let's make a swan out of some paper type of guy.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's cool, but I'm not going to be the one making you little swans. So to have to make a little swan for my morning coffee, it's not, for me, it's just not the most enjoyable.
Is it because they come just completely flat?
Yeah. I respect it. I kind of like it. I think it's neat. Do I like to do it every morning? No.
Yeah.
So, and then remember when I had when I was brewing a lot on the Fellow Stag, I used to bend all the ripples to reduce a little more surface. So there's less bypass. I hate that aspect of it, but I remember when that little distributor came out for the Aurea, the negotiator. Yeah. And I was like super hyped about that. Didn't jump on that train. And now that they have filters that are flat, like I'm there, but I'm also still like, I think it's both things that I really don't like. Bending in the ripples was annoying AF. And then now building little filters, folding all that, I feel like I can never get it perfect and it annoys me so much.
I mean, the V60 is like probably like a very classic like dripper. It's just like, I don't know. I still think it's like the reigning dripper of all drippers because it's just, you can get like a phenomenal cup of coffee out of it. It's bright. It has great clarity in the flavor, the final flavor. It can pretty much brew coffees just really well. Like I get that some coffees can clog even with like basic filters.
Yeah.
Like I get it. You can run into a few of those issues, but still like universally, it's just getting the job done.
Yeah.
That's it. And I do like the flavor profile of it. I think recently, I mean, having brewed on, I got an origami as a gift, the UFO from Jay as a gift. Or I have the Oria I've had for a few years.
Yeah.
I was brewing on the Oria for a very, very long time. It was crushing it. It was great. I think the thing that I was missing from the Oria is the fact that some brews just came out a little too like full bodied and a little rounder. I will say the Oria is way better than the Kalita. Kalita completely. Yes. Like if you're brewing with the Kalita, and I brewed with it for a long time. Actually, my very first coffee job, that's what we had at the roastry.
Yeah, I remember your favorite brewer.
Yeah, I loved it. I love that thing. I still have it. I need to whip it out. But it's just, it just makes coffees like too sweet. Sorry, not going to say too sweet. That's terrible. It just makes things like round. And I get now why people say like flat bottom is a little bit more forgiving. Yeah. That's like the epitome of Kalita. Mm-hmm. Like if you want just a good cup of coffee, solid, you're not looking for the highest clarity, complexity and everything. It's just going to give you a good round flavor. Kalita is going to get the job done. Yeah. That's if you're still doing a good job, pouring, prepping and all that stuff. Yeah. And so the Oria, I feel like has brewing on it is much better than the Kalita, but it's also not giving me everything that I like from a V60. And if I had to compare the two, I still feel like I'm leaning towards like a V60.
Well, could you have a brew with the V60 that's a little more full bodied, more, let's say less complex or,
of course, what I mean? Of course.
What would you do different then? If you're like aiming for that.
I mean, probably not use the Sybaris filters.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And not grind coarse and just grind fine. Yeah. I mean, you actually just
without over extracting though.
Oh, that might be a little more challenging, but you just might lean towards right before over extracting. Yeah. I guess if there's like a spectrum of like okay brews, you're like pushing it. Yeah.
That's why I think that's why I like the V60, or that's why I think when I say I like the V60, that's the easiest brewer to gravitate. Is it my favorite brewer of all time? Absolutely not. But do I gravitate towards the V60 because of what you just said? 100%. I can brew any coffee on it. Anyone. Light roast, medium roast, dark roast if I need to. Right? Any coffee on it. I can manipulate the recipe to taste almost in any way. I don't have to, I can use almost any filter I can find that works for it. Yeah. It's just that versatility on it. Like, hey, yeah, if you want something super crispy, I know exactly what I need to do to make that coffee be dialed and taste that.
I just don't think that it'll get quite as kind of the same experience as something that comes easily on a flat bottom. Yeah. Like the flat bottom
it gravitates.
It's just gravitate. Like you don't even need to try. It's probably like you can finagle an Oria to lean it a little closer to like a V60 brew. But it's going to take some quote unquote some mental gymnastics. Yeah. But I don't know. You said V60 is not your all-time favorite. What's your all-time favorite dripper?
Oh gosh.
Or maybe it is.
It's like my mind is doing tricks on me right now just talking about it, because I'm like, all-time favorite, do I mean I had the best cup of coffee on this brewer, or does that mean I've had the most consistency on this brewer? Because from the most consistency, the brewer that I started with, I had the V60 when I started brewing coffee just with a coffee sock. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. That's
crazy.
I'm
talking about
for all the people who don't know what a coffee sock is, who just thought about real socks. What are we talking about here?
The cloth filters. Dude, exactly. Back that was when I started brewing coffee on a V60 back in 2010. think, 2010. Before that, it was the Beehive thing I found, like, I think from Starbucks or whatever. It was like
I actually want to get one of those. Yeah. They just sound cool. What do they call them? A bee house or
Beehive
or something.
Or the Melita.
The Melita.
James Hoffman released a video that's gave, I think it was a James or Lance that said like Starbucks gets the credit for popularizing drippers.
Yeah. I actually watched that. That was actually a good video.
Was that James?
I don't know, James or Lance. Yeah. If you haven't watched that video on drippers, it's actually really interesting. Like the progression and how cafe owners rethinking like what a single cup brewer is. And how that led to the Clover.
Machine.
Exactly. That was actually super interesting.
Super smart.
Just a very interesting story. Anyways,
but I think because I've brewed on the V60 for so many years, it's both like it's both nostalgic, it's both like pioneering in my mind, and it's both fun and it's both boring in my mind. It's like all over the place. It kind of encompasses everything for me. But when it comes to something that I remember when the Fellow Stag Brewer came out, that brewer itself made me basically like nerd out over coffee. When the build of it, I was like, oh, I never really brewed that much on the Kalita, but this brewer, the concept of it, everything was just super intriguing for me. And I remember brewing some coffees that tasted so wildly different than everything I've tasted on my V60 that I was like, dude, I want to dive into that. And I think that's why I would say that brewer is very memorable for me, like extremely memorable. That was my introduction to Jonathan Gagne. Like that was my introduction to like all the things, flow rate, like pour height, like all of those things. That stage of my life was when I was the most nerdy about coffee. I was building water. Remember that? Everything I was doing as much as I could. Like 1 cup of coffee took me about 10 to 15 minutes to make. Like I'm kind of gravitated the other ways. How simple can I make my brewing experience? Correct. And recently I think I'm just kind of drawing out some history here. Recently, when I got the UFO, it kind of reignited this experimental side of me again. And I'm like, how can I figure out this brewer? Because I'll be honest, and hey, if Jay's listening, the UFO has not been super easy for me to brew on. I've had to think about it very intentionally and tweak variables very, very intentionally. If you're into coffee, if you want to nerd out about coffee, if you want to experiment, get the UFO 100%, even though Jay says you don't need like 50 brewers, and he's right. But if you're like, okay, like I want to tweak certain elements and I need a different brewer for that, get the UFO, because it will challenge you and it will make you a better brewer, 100%. But that's the part that I'm like, okay, I am now, and especially with, I got the Timor Senta. I didn't pay for it. It was free, but it was like the Timor scale with the little stand thing. So I was just shooting some content for it, and and it's fine. I'm like, I really like the ability to set that brewer on top of that little thing, even though Jay says don't do it. But all those new variables on my bar has really challenged me to actually experiment coffee on the level that I remember I was doing with the Fellow Stag Brewer. And that's where I'm like, okay, will the UFO become my new favorite brewer? I don't know. But because it's really pushing me to experiment with coffee, it's like on that level. Sorry, that was long-winded.
The UFO is interesting. I need to crack into the ceramic one that I got. I haven't yet. Actually, this is a little side note. When comparing like a ceramic V60 to like a plastic V60, I actually like the ceramic V60 a little more.
Oh, we've been going back and forth.
I don't really know. Like it's like every time I've tried to like preheat like a plastic one and then like brew with it, it just like I don't know. I get this like, I don't want to say like over extracted, but like this, I don't know. Like I get this like weird bitterness, texture, and mouthfeel. Where if I like do very minimal preheating on the ceramic, it tastes like, I think, crispier, nicer, brighter. But anyways, I need to crack into the ceramic UFO. But from the plastic one that I've been using, it's interesting. It's like a learning curve for sure. It is not just like, hey, you just throw it in, like something I'd say like a Kalita, like very foolproof and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that, I remember brewing it on the first time, and I'm like, oh, like you can't use a normal. Well, at least I haven't been figured out how to use a normal dose of coffee in there that I'm used to. Like it's just like, it's how the bed and the walls come down and how much height you have, but then also height with after you pour some water without it overflowing and keeping a steady flow. It's like, yeah, it's kind of tricky. But what I've noticed is the few good brews that I've had on it, you can have a brew that takes much longer, but still not taste terrible. Like still not taste like just terrible, like bitter, astringent, all that stuff. Like it's like I said, like it's almost like it has a learning curve, but at the same time it's kind of foolproof to a certain extent. Like it just gets you like a really solid cup of coffee, even with
those variables,
those in just like not maybe like specs that you're not used to.
Right.
Like you're not used to dosing a certain amount, and you're not used to that dose yielding a certain brew time, and it still tastes pretty decent. Yeah,
I think that's
interesting.
The thing with the V60. The V60 actually has pretty good range when it comes to dose. So even on the number 2, like the classic V60, you can probably make a 20 to 320 brew, or you can go up and like maybe brew like a 35 gram dose on it. You just have to rearrange your recipe, but you can achieve good results. I think the challenge on the V60, at least for me on a classic one, it's really hard to achieve optimal results with smaller doses, like 15 gram doses on the V60. But I would say on the UFO, it's the opposite. I've been able to achieve decently good results from 15 grams to 20 grams. Anything over 20 grams, I just can't brew. I'm having a hard time brewing on the UFO. But like that 15 to 20 grams seems to be perfect. You can go pretty coarse on it. You can pulsate a lot, and it seems to work good. Does it clog a lot? Like even on my, I was shocked. Even on my Seabreeze filters, I'm getting like almost 4-minute extraction times. On the Seabreeze filters. On the V60, when I used the fast Seabreeze filters, I was having a hard time hitting 330 on like a 20 to 23 gram dose, which is shocking. So there's that range. It does maybe there's less bypass, maybe there's all of those factors that play in it. The bed depth because the brewer is at that different angle. So there's those things that I'm like, okay, if I like this morning, the first cup of coffee, I just brewed by myself. I went 15 to 225. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out, So, and that's where, especially with my grinder, it's also fairly forgiving. I can do that. My grinder doesn't create that many fines. And especially now, I'm grinding almost, like we talked about this before, almost all of the coffees on the coarser side of things, and just adding more, pulsating more, and just controlling drawdown temp that way. But yeah, those are, I think, between all the conicals. I know we've been stuck on the kind of the conical. Am I using the right word? Conical, right? I'm thinking of burrs now. But on the V-shaped brewers, what like, for example, because you have 3 different ones with the V60, the UFO, and the origami, I am shocked. Like every single time I see the origami in person, the origami brewer is actually in size as a brewer. It's pretty big. So
it is.
What would you say your optimal dose is on the origami?
I don't know. I haven't quite played enough around with it. Naturally, what I'm not enjoying about it is that well, I just haven't figured it out really, is that the drawdown time takes a long time.
Oh, okay.
But then, like, I guess you can just go, well, it takes a long time, but then you end up with a body that's still slightly thinner and not quite as full.
Yeah.
And you miss some of that oomph in the brew, like that,
the so coarse then?
Yeah, because you're still grinding coarse, but it takes a long time. So I haven't quite figured it out. I know on Threads, like a lot of people said they use the origami. I know like Proud Mary in their cafes use the origami. So like, not saying you can't get a good brew out of it. I just obviously haven't figured it out. Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And then you get a brew that's like there's some flavor coming through, but it's like a lighter, thinner body, which I guess is a vibe if that's what you're going for. It's just if you're also brewing coffees that are much lighter, and you have a brewer that pretty much is like thinner bodied, then you end up with like, I don't know.
It's watery, it's empty.
Yeah. So I just, like I said, like take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Like don't listen to me, folks. Yeah. This is just like, I just haven't played enough around with it. So,
I mean,
so
gosh,
yeah,
I feel like we can keep talking about this because, but one thing I want to touch on is when it comes to coffee, maybe processing, varietal, and roast level. Would you differentiate those elements of coffee with the brewer that you use or not? Like if you said, okay, you have a natural Pacamara, are you like, oh, I am gonna first time dial that coffee in on this brewer for this reason?
Probably not. I think from my personal experience, I actually think I would more match like roast level to brewer a little bit more.
Yeah,
like I said, like with the origami, like I'm like, hey, if it's like pretty fairly light roasted and it's already yielding for me, like a lighter bodied, I don't want like a lighter bodied roast plus a lighter bodied brew. You know what I mean? So probably not anything to do with origin. Honestly, probably most coffees can be brewed on any brewer.
I would agree. I think one of the things that comes to my mind is like the trickle-8. For example, I know it's like, I think like first wave of no bypass brewers. Even back in the day when I got one, I was experimenting a lot. I've only brewed with it once in the last few months. What I find is for that itself, like I find like natural processed coffees tend to yield because they're punchier and it reduces that punchiness, but still produces enough complexity and flavor in it that it's not as boring. So I feel like that brewer in itself, if it's a natural, I would try it on the trickle-8, but other else than that, I feel like probably not. And there's some brewers that I would, depending on processing method, like I was saying, like, oh, I think this would yield better. I think the V60 with like classic, and maybe this is my bias of the amount of years I've brewed on the V60, a classic washed, like Ethiopian coffee is absolutely being brewed on a V60 for me.
Yeah.
That's just like, I'm not going to try it on anything else. I am going with that and I'm going to roll from that. If there's something I need to change, I will maybe try another brewer, but I know that for sure this is it. So it's not always like varietal or origin or processing rigged towards the brewer, but I think with my experience, like certain coffees on certain brewers, I have this memory of like, oh, this really works well, and I will gravitate towards that.
The V60 is pretty much like the washed coffees of the world.
I would say so. Yeah,
that's it.
I agree.
No funk, no experimentation, folks.
No.
Just a classic. Give me a cone with those 60-degree walls.
Yeah.
Pour some water over it. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
All right, folks. That's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us once again on another episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm Sessions podcast. This is episode 201. Thank you very much, folks. And as we always say, remember, reflect what's good.